very good morning to all of you students. Welcome to the physics class. In this session, we will study chapter number 6 of class 12th. And the name of the chapter is DC circuits and measurement. So student, in this chapter, we will discuss the main important topics like internal resistance, potential difference, EMF of a cell, combination of cells, Kirchhoff law, Wheatstone bridge, potentiometer, and how can we compare the EMF and internal resistance of any two cells with the help of a potentiometer. So these are the important topics which can be discussed in this topic. So we will discuss this chapter into two parts, and here we will discuss in the part 1 some important basic topics. So starts. First topic is electric cell. So electric cell is a device, or you can say it is a source of energy which can maintain a continuous flow of charge in any circuit. Means with the help of an electric cell we can continuous flow of charges in any circuit. Okay. Now the next topic is electromotive force. Electromotive force is generally represented by the symbol capital E, and it is denoted by E is equal to dW upon dQ. It means that in order to flow a unit positive charge inside the whole circuit including the cell is known as electromotive force, and it is shortly called as EMF. So its unit is volt, it is the standard unit, and we can also write joule per coulomb. So these are the two important units of EMF. Now student, we will discuss here terminal potential difference. As we know that terminal means between 2 points, and the potential difference means the potential difference between any 2 points in the circuit is known as terminal potential. You can see in the diagram E is the total potential, or you can say that EMF, and there are three conditions, this and this. These are shows the potential difference. So we can say that the terminal potential difference is the potential difference between any two fixed point in any electric circuit. So from the figure we can say that total potential E is equal to dW upon dQ, and we can write dW1 upon dQ plus dW upon dQ plus dW3 upon dQ. It means that we can say that total electromotive force in any cell will be equal to the terminal potentials in the cells. That means E is equal to V1 plus V2 plus V3. Okay student? Now the next topic is internal resistance of a cell and back EMF. Students, there is a diagram. In this diagram you can see that E is the total EMF and small r is the internal resistance. It is known as internal resistance because those resistance which have a small value and they are connected just to the cell are called internal resistance. So from figure, small r is the internal resistance, and in this circuit ammeter and voltmeter both are connected in parallel. Now on which terms or factors the internal resistance of a cell is depend. First topic is it is directly proportional to the separation between the two plates of a cell. That means between the two plates the internal resistance is directly proportional to the gap between two cells. Second thing is it is inversely proportional to the plate's area dipped into the electrolytes. It means that the thickness of the plates which is dipped inside the electrolytes is inversely proportional to the internal resistance. If plates are thick, the internal resistance will be minimum. Now, it depends upon the nature, concentration and temperature of the electrolytes. These are the 3 points on which the internal resistance of a cell depends. Okay. Now student, we will find here the formula of potential difference and EMF. So as we know that total work dW is equal to E into dQ, and we can write EI dt. Now we will find external work, which will be V into dQ, that means VI dt. The same way internal work VI dt and I square RT. So on putting the value, we get capital V is equal to capital E minus I into R, where capital V is the potential difference, E is the EMF, I will be the total current, and small r will be the internal resistance. Now student, with the help of above formula, we can find the value of small r, which will be small r is equal to capital E minus V upon I, and on putting the value of I, we get small r is equal to E minus V upon V by R. So finally we get small r is equal to capital R in bracket E upon V minus 1. So this is the required formula of the internal resistance. Now we can find the formula of total current. So we know that I is equal to V upon R from Ohm's law. So we can write I is equal to E minus IR upon capital R. So on cross multiplication, finally we get the I is equal to capital E upon capital R plus small r. So this is the required formula for the electric current in any circuit. Okay, so the above formula, now student, we get another formula V is equal to E plus IR. So this formula is used when the circuit is open, that means there is no current flowing in the cell. But when the circuit is closed, we use V is equal to E minus IR. It means that we can say that in the case of closed circuit, potential difference is always less than electromotive force. But in the case of open circuit, V is equal to E plus IR. It means that in this case there is no current, that means V is equal to E. Now student, we will discuss here combination of cells. As you study combination of resistances, combination of capacitors, in the same way we will discuss here combination of cells. So there are three types of combinations of cells take place. First series, second parallel, and third is mixed. So one by one we will discuss here. First is series combination. So student, in series combination, as you saw, as it is shown in the figure, there are number of cells whose EMF are number of cells whose EMF are E, and their internal resistance are small r. So they are connected in series with the help of a key and external resistance capital R. Now first of all, we will find here total internal resistances. So it will be sigma R is equal to n times of small r. In the same way, we will find here total EMF. So it will be NE. Now the total resistance will be internal plus external, NR plus capital R. So by putting the value, we get total current I is equal to NE upon NR plus capital R. So the total current in this case will be capital I is equal to NE upon NR plus capital R. Now there can be two conditions are possible here. Condition number one, if NR is less than capital R, it means that we can neglect NR with the compare of capital R. So on neglecting NR, we get I is equal to n times of E upon R, and n times of E upon R means n times of total current flowing through the cell, or you can say that flowing through the external resistance. Now the second condition is when NR is greater than capital R, then we can neglect capital R with compare of small nr. So we get I is equal to E upon R. That means in this case we get the current which is flowing through one internal resistance. So these are the conditions of combination of cells in the series combination. Now in the case of parallel combination, you can see that in the diagram, in this diagram, number of cells whose EMF are same, which is capital E, and they are connected in parallel combination, their internal resistances are small r, and they all are connected with external resistance capital R and key. Now, first of all, we will find here the total internal resistance. So it will be 1 upon R1 is equal to 1 upon R1, 1 upon R plus 1 upon R plus 1 upon R n times. That means n upon R. So R1 will be small r upon n. The total resistance will be small r upon n plus capital R. Now, the total current I is equal to E upon R by n plus capital R. Now student, here two conditions are possible. Case number 1, when small r is less than capital R, it means that I is equal to E upon R. That means current flowing through the cell. The second case, when small r is greater than capital R, in this case we get I is equal to n times of current passing through one internal resistance. Now student, in the case of mixed grouping, mesh grouping means here we will connected cells into the series as well as parallel. So here a number of cells whose EMF are capital E, they are connected firstly in a row series, and these rows are generally connected in parallel. So this diagram shows a mixed grouping. Now, so first of all, we will find the effective internal resistance, which will be 1 upon R1 is equal to 1 upon NR plus 1 upon NR and so on m times of n upon R. It will be R1 is equal to NR upon capital M. Now the total resistance of the circuit NR plus capital M upon plus R. Now putting the values, we get the total current I is equal to MNE upon NR plus MR. So students, this is the required formula of current in the mixed grouping. Now students, we will discuss here the most important and most valuable topic, because from this topic in the board examination one numerical problem or theoretical problem is surely asked. So Kirchhoff law is divided into two parts. Kirchhoff's first law, it is also known as junction rule. So according to this rule, the algebraic sum of all the currents meeting at a point O, which is also known as junction, is 0. So from the figure, those currents which are going towards the junction, they are considered as a positive, and those currents which are going away from the junction, they are considered as a negative. So this is the first law. Now student, the second law is known as Kirchhoff's second law. It is also known as loop rule. So according to this rule, the product of current and resistance and the sum of this product will be equal to the algebraic sum of the EMF. So this is known as loop law, because in this law we use the loop formation. So in the loop number 1 and this is the loop number 2. So if we apply the Kirchhoff second law in loop number 1, then we get I1 R1 minus I2 R2 is equal to E1 minus E2. In the same way, in the loop number 2, we will find I2 R2 plus I1 plus I2 into R3 is equal to E2. On solving these two equations, we can easily find the value of currents which are flowing in the all parts of a circuit. So this is the Kirchhoff first and second law. Okay student. Now student, we will discuss another important topic, and this is Wheatstone bridge. This is known as Wheatstone bridge because in this construction there are four resistances are connected in the form of a bridge, and this is discovered by the Wheatstone bridge. That's why it is known as Wheatstone bridge. Okay, you can see the construction and diagram. So in this diagram, P, Q, R and S, four resistances which are connected in the side of a parallelogram, and the 2 points A and C of a parallelogram is directly connected to the EMF and a key, and the second 2 points B and D are connected with the help of a galvanometer and key K2. Now, in the steady condition, or you can say that in the balance condition, if there is no current is flowing in the galvanometer, means if there is no current flowing in the galvanometer, then the arrow or the needle of a galvanometer don't show any reflection. In this case, we can say that the Wheatstone bridge is in the balanced condition. Clear? Now, for the balanced condition, we can find the formula of Wheatstone bridge by applying the Kirchhoff's first law, Kirchhoff's second law in two loops. So if we apply the Kirchhoff first law in loop number 1 and loop number 2, we get I1P minus I2R is equal to 0. That means I1P is equal to I2R. In the same way, I1Q minus I2S is equal to 0. That means I1Q is equal to I2S. By putting these values, we get finally P upon Q is equal to R by S. So this is the required formula of Wheatstone bridge, and with the help of this formula, we can find easily any unknown resistance. So student, these are the important topics which was discussed by me in the first part, and we will discuss the next and the rest topics in the part number 2. So please revise all the topics which was discussed in the above and do the numerical problem based on these topics. Okay, thank you very much.